Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. Cases, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. From gourmet snacks to unique finds, each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.
Welcome in. It is the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. I'm your host, Cam Stewart, trying to get away from the glare a little bit. Zach Burke is keeping us on the air as he does every weekday, high noon Eastern time, live on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. We appreciate those of you who are making it part of your daily routine. We got Boston sports content every day of the work week, and we're talking a lot of Bruins today. I know we have a lot recently, but we've got to get to what has become of this team after the Brad Marchand trade. We're also going to tell you about the player who directly led to the Brad Marchand trade and pretty much all the bad things that have happened to the Bruins this year. Starts with this one guy, whether he likes it or not. And Al Horford. Is Al Horford a Hall of Famer? Because Joe Mazzulla called him a Hall of Famer. We'll dive into that and why he is or he isn't. It's all coming up on the Cam Show. But first, my God, man. Start telling your kids about the 2025 Stanley Cup playoff participants, the Boston Bruins. It's not out of the question yet. I really thought it was out of the question last week. I thought they were closer to a top 5 pick than they were to the playoffs. And it's a little bit closer to the playoffs now. But look, this team maybe has figured something out. Cam, it's only been 2 games. It's a long season. You're overreacting. I am. But those 2 games were against divisional opponents who were both pretty damn hot coming into it, both going to make the playoffs, both much better than you. And you beat them both in regulation. You took 4 points off them. Like, that's not nothing, okay? If you want to say it's a small sample size and say it's 2 games, fine. But it's not nothing. And for those of you who watched the Bruins game last night against the Panthers, you wouldn't be saying it's nothing. And I don't love doing this show and just, breaking down a regular season game the day after, but this was something different last night. There was real energy in that building last night that Bruins fans were dying for. Okay? And I maybe I'm too much of a fan, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but there was a statement sent by the Boston Bruins last night against the Panthers. Because Florida goes up 2-0 in that game in the third period. It's not the greatest game in the world, right? And they're up 2-0, and you know what they're thinking. Same old Bruins. We got them again. We own this building. We own this team. This is going to be 4-0, 5-1 by the end of this. No problem. They don't even have their leader anymore. We got him. We've got Marchand, and we've got the people in the front row on the glass wearing the Panthers Marchand 63 jerseys. Like, they were ready to just push the Bruins off the cliff. And the Bruins, for once this season, said, fuck you. Like hell you are. Okay? Pasternak scores a beauty off a really nice Casey Middlestat play. Mason Lowry continues to grow and come into his own. Scores a beauty where he's got a shot first mentality to tie the game with like 5 or 6 minutes left. Like they're down with 6 minutes left against the defending Cup champs, a team that's knocked them out of the playoffs the last 2 years. And they don't even need overtime. They win it in regulation. Pavel Zacha scoring the winner and then getting 3 minutes almost of empty net play at the other end. We know how bad the Bruins have been with that all season. And they didn't budge. They were white knuckling, but they won. They didn't give up a goal, and they mixed it up. And I've been burying the lead because the moment of last night, and maybe the moment of the season for the Boston Bruins, is when Sam Bennett threw a bit of a cheap shot and then tried to challenge Nikita Zadorov. I don't care what gets struck down on this video. We have to watch this together.
Bennett does stick work, cheap shot. Zadorov had enough. This is what Nikita Zadorov can mean to your club when he's got his A game going, when he's an impactful player, when he's a good decision maker. He is a...
I've watched that like 15 times since last night, and there's not a single time that I don't have a guttural reaction, a visceral reaction to that connection that Nikita Zadorov gives Sam Bennett. The fact that he is just handing this prick his lunch, man, with 3 seconds left in the game. This guy is the ultimate, like, push us around and don't get pushed back kind of Florida Panther. And Nikita Zadorov just said, I've had enough of this shit. Zadorov obviously has the size advantage, but Bennett's a pretty tough customer, and he's poking the big grizzly here. And Zadorov just fucking knocks his lights out. Bennett's just grabbing onto anything, grabbing onto David Pastrnak. And Zadorov is just feeding it to him right in the fucking cake hole. That is hockey. That is Boston Bruins hockey right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's what they've been missing for years, actually. They had the greatest regular season team of all time 2 years ago. They didn't have that. And it's about time Nikita Zadorov showed us a little something, you know, because he's not going to give you a ton of production. He's not going to give you any offense, but he has shown some leadership ability. He has. The guys talk about it too. And he does not get pushed around. For all those of you who were crying when they traded Trent Frederick because he's tough to play against, that's what tough to play against looks like. 3 seconds left in the game. I'm not letting you get away with any shit. And I know you've knocked this team out, this team that I wasn't on, the last 2 years out of the playoffs, but we're not going to roll over for you anymore. Just because we don't have Brad Marchand anymore and Charlie McAvoy's not in the lineup does not mean you are going to push us around. That was a statement. And honestly, guys, the Panthers were shell-shocked. If you watch that game and you're trying to tell me they weren't shell-shocked, you were not watching closely enough. They couldn't believe it. That the Bruins actually had some fight in them, not just throwing the mitts, but actually coming back and winning this game in regulation, because they had some good bouts in the playoffs last year, but it doesn't matter when you're losing 6-1. This one, they came back and won and shut up Sam Bennett. Finally, someone on this team would do that. Oh, Nikita Zadorov. My God, man. I've said it on this show before. I have never wanted a Bruin to be good more than Nikita Zadorov. Or I guess I haven't wanted one to be good that just isn't. And Nikita Zadorov, I said from the day he came in here, I'm like, man, this guy could be a cult hero in Boston if it goes right. And so far this season, it hasn't gone right. There's not a lot of 91 jerseys up there in the balcony at the Garden. But something like that, I mean, people are going to get jerseys based off that alone. He's not going to be able to buy a drink in Boston again because people are just going to be buying it for him after this, because this picture will be in sports bars all over the place. Hang this in the Louvre, man. Sam Bennett grabbing an opponent for dear life as Nikita Zadorov just knocks the shit out of him. That is what I'm talking about. And yeah, there is a way for these Bruins to sneak into the playoffs. It looked crazy a couple weeks ago, maybe just a week ago. It looked nuts. But here they are, duking it out, battling. They've got a couple more teams to leapfrog, right? That's the toughest part here, is not just the points, because they're only 2 points off the last wild card spot. But they'd have to leapfrog 2 other teams to get there, and all of them have games in hand. That doesn't include Columbus, who's in the second wild card spot right now. It's not easy to do. And, you know, it doesn't get much easier for the Bruins. They've still got a bunch of road games. They've got a bunch of playoff games, or they're facing playoff teams. This game tomorrow on Thursday is massive beyond measure. Bruins at Ottawa. Ottawa, who's won 5 in a row, 4 in a row. What have they won? Won 4 in a row after having a bad stretch there, and they're in the first wild card spot. They're a playoff team right now. They're well ahead of the Bruins. They're at 73 points. Bruins at 68, and Ottawa's got 2 games in hand. So it feels like a must-win going on the road, and this team is galvanized right now. Don Sweeney and company did not have that in mind when they traded Brad Marchand. Don't let that get twisted. But they are galvanized right now. These are a bunch of guys who are on NHL rosters right now, but might not be in a couple months. And there's something to that. Guys trying to keep their NHL careers alive and playing for an original 6 franchise, putting on one of the most famous sweaters in the game. Like that does mean something to these guys. And they're not comfortable anymore because there was a severe lack of accountability in this franchise and on this team this year. And then they traded their captain, who was always setting the example and playing through injuries and all this. And so now everyone's sitting on that bench thinking, am I next? If I don't give 100% on this shift, am I next? And that is a good thing to have. I was going to say that's not a bad thing to have, but that's obvious. It's a good thing to have. These guys are hungry. They're playing with their backs against the wall because they should be. Their season is backed up against the wall, and they are the ones who did that. And I really think that was deeper than just one game last night. It doesn't win you a playoff series or anything like that. But again, you've got a team here that's pushed you around the last couple years, and you didn't let them on this night. And I think that's important. And just from an actual hockey breakdown of this thing, like the Bruins are a faster team than they were at this point last week. I think that's been a terrible hallmark for them all season long, is how slow they've been. And when you dump guys like Marchand, Coyle, Brazeau, who has to be the slowest skater in the entire National Hockey League, Trent Frederick, and you replace him with guys like, guys that you might not have heard of, right? Middlestat being the only one you might have heard of, but the other ones, Husnadinov and I don't even know, Yokiyaru, the defenseman from Buffalo. You add some of these guys in here, and they're noticeably faster. And the Bruins really, they chucked the Nucks and they scored some big goals late, but they won that game because they were fast. They were getting to loose pucks. They were keeping pucks in the zone, which they've had a lot of trouble with all season long, not so much the last 2 games. And they gave a winning effort. And they were winning puck battles. And they haven't been doing that all year long. They weren't giving up 2-on-1s. Their power play looks much better. Mason Lohrei is going to be the player of the back half of the season for the Bruins because he's really growing up in front of our eyes. There'll probably be setbacks. We talked about the 250 games. NHL defenseman needs 250 games before they've really figured it out. That's the adage, right? Mike Milbury talked about that last week in direct relation to Mason Lohrei. But you're seeing a kid who's going to play a lot of time. He's playing the penalty kill. He's playing the power play. He's quarterbacking the power play. And this power play unit looks better. It truly does. And that's not just a Marchand thing. That's also a Lohrei playing over McAvoy thing. He's distributing. They're moving. They're getting more shots on goal. He's more happy to shoot the puck because he's got a really good shot. He scores a goal last night. This kid's going to grow up in front of our eyes, so I didn't want to give up on him. If he was going to bring in a big-time player in a trade, that's one thing. But there are a lot of Bruins fans who are done with Mason Lohrei. Trust me, this kid's going to be something for you. You got to give him some time. He's got to learn this league, this level. And he's doing it. He's doing it right now. And was he impressive last night. Not just independent of the goal. He had a great play in the second period where he went on the back check. He had pinched on a play. He was in the back check in the neutral zone. He tracked the guy down, stick lifted him, got the puck away to some space where he could pass it. And from inside his own blue line, kind of fading away, he passed to the opposite blue line, opposite end to David Pastrnak on an easy zone entry. It was sick. It was sickening. Mason Lohrei is coming together for this team, and this team is coming together for a possible playoff push. And I know I've railed against it this year, but if you get in the playoffs, anything can happen. And what I'll say about this team in particular is if this team makes the playoffs, I truly believe anything can happen. Because if they make it, they didn't fall ass backwards into the playoffs. Like at this point, again, they'd have to leapfrog 3 teams to get there who all have games in hand. If they make it, it's because they're playing good hockey down the stretch, and they've earned that. If they get in, then they are a danger team because they've been playing playoff hockey for a month and a half. So I still don't think they get in, but if they do, it's not because they fell ass backwards into that thing. And I understand that a lot of Bruins fans are pivoting at this point. That's okay. I wanted them to tank too. But if they just missed the playoffs, it'd be the worst situation possible. But from a fan standpoint, it's much different from what they were a week ago when you were like, screw it, just lose. I want this season to be over. This team does nothing for me. Like, you don't mind them being mediocre at times if they're really trying and they're improving and they're playing a good brand of hockey and they're entertaining you. Ask the Steelers fans, man. The Steelers haven't been legit Super Bowl contenders in 8 or 9 years, but they make the playoffs all the time. They always have winning seasons. They don't fire their coach. And sometimes they do want to tank. Sometimes they do want to fire their coach. Sometimes they don't. Because if they're playing good football and they're entertaining and they're getting better, then that's what fans want. And this Bruins team is getting better, and they're playing tough, and they're playing hard, and they're playing the way we want to see them play. And I know it's cliche and corny as shit, but it feels like they are playing for the logo and for the team, the franchise, not just whatever else. And that's what's going to endear you to Bruins fans. And if you make the playoffs out of that and you earn your way into the postseason, you scratch and claw your way in, that's gravy. And hey, if they do get in, are we going to see Bruins-Panthers round 3 years in a row? That's a real possibility. Or better yet, there's still a chance. Bruins-Leafs, first round. It's not out of the question. Lest we forget, there have been plenty of problems around this Bruins team this year. Plenty of problems around the Bruins team this year. And all these things, the bad season, the Brad Marchand trade, the drama around the GM, it can all really be traced back to one guy. Let's talk about who that is next on the Camp Show.
Are you ready to take control of your health? At 4U Health, we believe wellness and lab testing should be accessible, inclusive, and yes, fun. With our tech-powered at-home lab test, you save time and money while feeling your best. Say goodbye to long waits and office visits. Check your health on your own terms with 4U Health. Visit 4uhealth.com today and free yourself from traditional medicine. That's the number 4uhealth.com. Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
Have you ever watched true crime television and wondered, how did they get that story?
I can show you. I was a producer for 48 Hours on CBS News.
In my exclusive tell-all book, I'll take you where no audience has ever gone before. Don't miss out. Secure your copy of Killer Story: The Truth Behind True Crime Television today. Available everywhere books are sold.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
We haven't been looking for you. Wake up.
Hellhound Country, available anywhere you get your podcasts. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Back, Cam Show, Rogue Media Sports Network. We're live here every weekday on YouTube, high noon Eastern time. And then wherever you get your podcasts, because that's just what we like to do for you. Either way helps. I mean, helping would be liking and subscribing and ringing that notification bell to get notified every time we're going live. Sometimes we go live in the afternoon. Bruins trade deadline, Patriots free agency day one. We're apt to do that. Anyway, I'm Cam Stewart, your host. Zach Burke keeps us on the air day in, day out. We appreciate him. We talked a lot of Bruins in that first segment. We told you to warn your kids about the 2025 Stanley Cup playoff participant, Boston Bruins. It could happen. It could happen, but it doesn't erase what has been, well, so far it doesn't erase how bad this year has been. It's been a tough season to be a Bruins fan, right? First time in a while. The team has been uninspiring up till these last two games. They've been lackluster, bad, untalented, no accountability. Nobody knows who's running the show. Coach was bad. GM is still bad. And then it culminates in you trading your captain, your team icon, your future Hall of Famer, Brad Marchand, to the Florida Panthers, which is just something that nobody wanted to see. Like, that was not, like, as much as some Bruins fans wanted Brad Marchand traded because of the return that you could get for him and where this team was going, it's still not something you want to do. You know, you don't want to sit there and be like, yeah, trade our favorite player. And I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. All the problems, really, like, it's not one man's fault, but all the problems with the Bruins this year, if you wanted to, could be traced back to one player. And that's Elias Lindholm. Okay? Like, again, not that Elias Lindholm being bad has brought down, like, made the whole team bad, but it's a reflection on the general manager. It's a reflection on the direction of this team. It's a reflection on the contract negotiations that Brad Marchand had with the Bruins that ultimately led to his trading. It reflects on the accountability or lack thereof in this organization, both at the front office level and, you know, on the bench, behind the bench, in the locker room. It all kind of somehow relates back to Elias Lindholm, who has been just brutal this season after signing a 7-year deal worth $7.75 a year. And he just turned 30. He's actually going to turn 31 here this year. It's going to take you through age 37, that contract. And what has Elias Lindholm given you this year? 33 points. 33 points for Elias Lindholm. Like, are you kidding me? In 66 games this year, he's given you 33 points, a point every other game, 11 goals. And for the guy who is a good defensive forward who gets all these Selke votes, I know this is kind of a team stat, but he's -7 on the year. And you've had to bump him down most of the year to third-line center. Could you imagine paying almost $8 million a year for a third-line center? Teams won't even do that in 3 years when the cap is way up. Nobody's going to be paying $8 million a year for a third-line center. But that's what Elias Lindholm is. And he's not even playing that much penalty kill time anymore. So what is he giving you? This is what I can't believe. And I think there were a lot of Bruins fans that were skeptical of his signing at the time. You're like, oh, okay, that money? Like all the experts and analysts around the league were like, he got what? He got what AAV? He got how many years? Elias Lindholm? Only the Bruins. They were competing against themselves on this one to go get a number one center that was really never a number one center. I mean, if we're being totally honest, the one season that he kind of put that together as a number one center was when he was with Calgary. And, he had 82 points, scored 42 goals, and he was playing alongside Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk. Like, that's not what the Bruins have here. And they realized pretty quickly he could not be the number one center. They had to put Pavel Zacha up there, who came to the team as a winger, by the way. And he's been their number one center most of the year. But you look at the stats, and look, Lindholm had some good years in there. But you look at them and you think, wow, is he much closer to the point-a-game guy or the 40-point guy? Because last year he scored 44 points across two teams, and Vancouver was all the more happy to get rid of him. They're like, go ahead, take him. We'll take Jake DeBrusk instead in free agency. Worked for them to some degree. They're in the playoff picture. And Elias Lindholm signs the $7.75 million AAV deal. And there's Brad Marchand sitting there thinking, hell yeah, man. I'm up this summer. And look what they just gave Elias Lindholm. I've been balling on a budget these last couple of years. That's why he went to the table with $7.5 million as the asking price. And I'm sure he started higher. I'm sure he started with 8. Like, hey, I need to be making more than Elias Lindholm. I'm a better player than Elias Lindholm. And I'm not, like, I think the Bruins were right to walk away from that deal that Marchand put on the table. But he is better than Elias Lindholm. He should get paid more than Elias Lindholm. And we talk about the accountability and lack thereof on this team and how guys got too comfortable with their roles because they weren't going to get benched. They weren't going to get scratched. Probably because they're watching Elias Lindholm give nothing to the team. And it's like these Catholic priests that don't get shunned after allegations. They just get thrown to another place. Just get thrown to a parish in Aruba. Right? Elias Lindholm doesn't get scratched, not a healthy scratch, not made an example out of. They just put him on the third line. Because what are you going to do? We're paying him almost $8 million a year to do this. They are stuck with this contract. Stuck. He's got a no move coming in. Like, nobody's going to take him. And he's just going to rot away. The best thing that's ever happened to you is that the salary cap is going up. Now, for other teams, that means they'll get to improve their teams exponentially because the cap is going up. For the Bruins, it might just mean that, hey, at least we can afford Elias Lindholm's 40 points. He's going to be a 40-point guy for $8 million a year. You know who was better than a 40-point guy last year? Jake DeBrusk. Jake DeBrusk's a 50-point guy. And you let him walk so that you could give Elias Lindholm 7 3/4. So again, we look at the Marchand negotiations. I guarantee you he's looking at that Elias Lindholm contract as the benchmark. We look at Don Sweeney and his failure of late, the last couple of years with the Bruins. Biggest thing you can point to. Well, he gave Elias Lindholm 7.75 over 7 years last summer. Like you want a poster child of why Don Sweeney can't be trusted with money and giving out contracts? It used to be Matt Bolesky. Now it's Elias Lindholm. I think it's going to go down as one of the worst contracts in Boston Bruins history. And this team, they've lacked speed. They've lacked offensive creativity. They've lacked muscle for a lot of the year that Cam Neely and Don Sweeney thought they had. Elias Lindholm did not improve on any of those things. He didn't make any of those things better for the Boston Bruins. So he's part of the problem. He's the poster child you can point to and say, this is where the Bruins' mistakes are. Thinking that this guy was the number one center. Thinking that this guy could be the face of your forward group outside of David Pastrnak. That was never going to be the case. And again, the Bruins fans were rather skeptical when the signing was made. Like, I think a lot of us, I was definitely in this camp of thinking like, Lindholm's a good player. That's an overpay. And then you're thinking, like, do they think he's going to be the Bergeron replacement? Because he's like a very diet Patrice Bergeron, good enough defensive forward. Top 10 in Selkies. Bergeron won 6 of them. That's like saying, oh, this is Tom Brady's replacement. Yeah, this guy, he's played in the divisional round a couple times. Like, no, it's not the same, man. It's not the same. And at the time you were like, oh, maybe when the cap goes up, this will be okay. Maybe he's a 60-point guy, not an 80-point guy, not a 40-point guy. But no, he's a 40-point guy. And there's no other team in the league that's paying a 40-point guy $8 million a year. That's one of the reasons you lose your captain right there. That's one of the big reasons why you've sucked this year, why you still have plenty of work to do to get in the playoffs. And as good as the Bruins have been the last 2 games, can you tell me one thing Elias Lindholm's done? All these other guys making plays, looking good. I can't even tell you. Like, I genuinely can't tell you when he's on the ice and when he's not. Like, he's been the most. I really think he's been the most invisible player on the roster this entire year. Not good and bad, but without noticing it. Like, you just don't even notice when he's out there. You don't see 28. You don't see him making plays. You don't see the puck on his stick. You don't hear his name being called on the broadcast for a guy who's supposed to be your number one center. And like, you bring in Casey Middlestat, and he's already like higher in the pecking order than Elias Lindholm. Like, it's a joke, man. It's going to be one of the worst contracts the Boston Bruins have ever handed out. And in an illustrious era of Don Sweeney contracts with Matt Bolesky and David Backes, he's going to be right up there too. He's probably the number one guy on that list because it was for longer and for more money than Matt Bolesky. I hate to pile on the guy, but like, he's been a mess. He's been an absolute mess. And all the things that we've bitched about with the Bruins this year can be linked back to either Elias Lindholm directly or the kind of style of play that he brings. I don't know. Like, the Bruins said they were going to go bigger and stronger, and Elias Lindholm doesn't bring that. What they got was slower until they made these trades for former first-round picks that they're taking flyers on, and they finally got a little bit faster. And Elias Lindholm's not part of it. He's not part of this fun. And I get it's tough to scratch an $8 million AAV guy, but at what point do you just say, man, we're scratching you tonight? Go have a think about it. You got to be better than this, man. You've got to produce some offense for us. To think that you went out there and got a number one center who can't even play on the power play, hasn't played on the power play all year. That's a joke. And so the Bruins are playing better right now, but you want to look at all the bad things that we've had this year, both on and off the ice. Like, how much of that has to do with Elias Lindholm? By the way, Jeremy Swayman, that contract negotiation, it's a different It's a different position, and maybe it's too different, but that negotiation is after you gave out 7 3/4 to Elias Lindholm. Then all of a sudden there's a new ballpark to go into. So all the crap that we've dealt with this year, the coaching, the contract negotiations, the trades, like the poor play, it all comes back to Elias Lindholm, one of the worst contracts in Bruins history. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe on the channel as well, on the video in the channel, because we're bringing you fresh Boston sports content 5 days a week live at high noon Eastern time here on YouTube, and then wherever you get your podcasts. The Cam Show rolls on. Is Al Horford a Hall of Famer? Let's discuss next.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now. At Angel Bliss, we believe every parent's journey is a beautiful adventure. Our mission is to make it joyful and stress-free with thoughtful, safe, and innovative products. Born from a love for family, we promise peace of mind for parents and comfort for babies. From playtime to bedtime, every Angel Bliss product is designed with care, reliability, and a style to nurture the special bond between parent and child. Angel Bliss, creating happy memories, one baby at a time. Visit us at angelbliss.us. Angel Bliss.
Back, it's the Cam Show on Rogue Media Sports Network. On this Wednesday, we are live here on YouTube every weekday, high noon Eastern time, 12 to 1, and then wherever you get your podcasts, with segments going out on YouTube every day too. So if you missed it and you maybe don't have a full hour in the day, you just want to know if Al Horford's a Hall of Famer, you've got the segment there too. We'll give you that. So just keep on the lookout for that. Be sure to like and subscribe. Ring that notification bell to get notified every time we are going live. I'm Cam Stewart, Zach Burke, keeping us on the air. Joe Mazzulla said something pretty interesting after the Lakers game on Saturday. He said Al Horford is a future Hall of Famer. Do we need to start telling our kids about Hall of Famer Al Horford? As someone who's actually been around for his whole career, and watched a lot of Al Horford, I first heard that and I thought, really? It's something I thought about quite briefly after he won his first title last year. And I think I'm comfortable with Al Horford being in the Hall of Very Good. You know, just a good impact player. You know, the same way we look back on like a Danny Ainge, right? Danny Ainge, good player, man. Good part of championship teams. You know, in 86, you needed a guy like that. But Hall of Famer? No, not a Hall of Famer. But Al Horford makes a case. And it's kind of crazy, but he does make a case. You look through his accomplishments and you're like, really? 5 All-Star teams, 1 All-NBA team. Is there any Hall of Famer who's only made 1 All-NBA team? And I don't have that answer in front of me, but I'll bet you there is. Because what we're dealing with is the Basketball Hall of Fame, which does not have the standards of a Pro Football Hall of Fame or Baseball Hall of Fame, and probably a Hockey Hall of Fame either. I think they're more lenient than any of the other 3. And a big reason why is they take into account stuff outside of the NBA, be it international or college basketball. Those things count. Ask Grant Hill. Grant Hill had a heck of a career in the NBA, probably too injured to be in the Hall of Fame off his NBA career alone, but he also went to 3 national championship games at Duke. He won 2 of them, and he was a National Player of the Year. So that helps tremendously, right? He's a great college player and a pretty damn good NBA one too. So you look at Al Horford, and you see 5 All-Star teams, 1 All-NBA team. Oh, yeah. But at Florida, he won back-to-back national championships. He pretty much averaged a double-double his last year there when they defended their national championship and won it again. You know, he gets Defensive Player of the Year votes. He finished 2nd in Rookie of the Year voting behind Kevin Durant their rookie year. Like, he's now got a championship. He could well have a 2nd by the time he hangs him up. Which would probably be, I'm guessing, at the end of this year. In his age 38 season, he'll be 39 by the time they would play in the finals again if they were to do so. By all measures, Al Horford is a nice player. And if we somehow put it into baseball standards, he's not a Hall of Famer. You know, there's just, you're really going to put a guy in the Hall of Fame who, you know, is averaging 13 points a game for his career? You know, never averaged more than 17 in a game his whole career. It just doesn't feel right, right? You know, it's 13 and 8 for his career. Center, forward, you know, and those of us who watch him all the time and the Celtics fans, like we appreciate what Al Horford is. We know that he is still has tremendous value. Like, I still get pissed about, pissed is a strong word, but I still get tickled when broadcasters are like, well, I mean, like, there are still announcers and coaches who will literally scheme against, all right, let's attack Al Horford. And like, you can't do it. You can't do it. In fact, the Lakers tried it a bunch on Saturday night when Mazzulla said he's a future Hall of Famer. They isolated him like 20 times. There was some wild stat that I don't have in front of me and I should, but they isolated him like 20 times and scored, I think, 3 buckets. Like, it was something incredible. It was like 0.3 points per possession on that. So it was a little more than 3, but You saw it with Luka last year. I mean, they tried to keep getting in game 1 of the finals. Luka matched up against Al Horford, and Horford had him in a blender, dude. Like, cut the shit of like, oh, a 38-year-old Al Horford, you're going to rely on him? Yes, I am. He still plays a ton of games. He still plays very effectively. He's still above average three-point shooter, although that number's gone down this year. Like, he still gives you a ton of good things on both ends of the floor. And then I go to his basketball reference page and I look at his similarity scores. And you go up and down the list. There are some guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame, Bill Laimbeer, Tyson Chandler, but the overwhelming majority is Dikembe Mutombo, Jack Sikma, Vlade Divac, Wes Unseld, Robert Parrish, Alonzo Mourning. These guys are Hall of Famers. Like, some of them are no doubt Hall of Famers, right? Like, Robert Parrish, even if he doesn't have the all-time games played record, is a Hall of Famer. Alonzo Mourning, nailed on, Hall of Famer. Dikembe Mutombo. Anyone disagreeing that he's a Hall of Famer? Like, and so that's what you stack his career up against for 17 years. And you're like, maybe he is a Hall of Famer if he's matching up with these guys. Because, like, you know, I wasn't there for a lot of these guys' careers, but just knowing the game and knowing kind of the history of it, there were certainly times where you didn't think Vlade Divac was a nailed-on Hall of Famer, or Jack Sikma, nailed-on Hall of Famer. Like, there's parts of their careers that you're thinking, no, good player, not great. And then they make the Hall of Fame. Because that's what basketball does. So I think Al Horford is going to make the Hall of Fame. And if the Celtics win it again this year and he ends his career on back-to-back NBA championships, I don't think there's much doubt that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Which is crazy because I know this is comparing across sports here, but for those of us Boston fans, like, Julian Edelman for the Patriots is a Hall of very good player. He was a nice player who was great for that offense, for that quarterback, was very clutch, obviously big for them in the postseason, probably more clutch in the postseason than Al Horford has been, but kind of that same plane of like, he's always there, he's always dependable, people keep doubting him, and he's perfect for this team. Good teams. And Julian Edelman is not going to come close to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He never even made a Pro Bowl. But that's the difference between football and basketball. Al Horford's going to make it. He's going to make it. And if he deserves it, that remains to be seen. He's deserved every good thing that's come to him in his career. I'll say that. Right? The guy handles himself with class. He's been through some tough situations in the NBA. He's always a hard worker. He's very unselfish. He's a good leader on these teams. He has accepted his role extremely well with the Celtics, by the way. I think that really kind of goes unnoticed. Like, the Celtics, when they got him back, that was not a popular move. It was like, really? You traded Kemba and a first-round pick just to get Al Horford? Like, what is he going to give you? He's been rotting on the bench. And more importantly, he comes into that team as a guy who played with a lot of those guys. You know, he was only, 3 years removed. So he had played with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. And he was the veteran guy when he was there before. He was the max contract veteran guy. And now suddenly he has to go into a role where he's deferring to these guys. He's still got to have some leadership qualities, but it's Jason Tatum's team. It's Jaylen Brown's team. And he's handled that extremely well. So from a Celtics standpoint, we love him to death. And we'll be happy to see that happens. But I think there's real doubt on whether he should be in the Hall of Fame until you look at the guys he's compared to. And you think of what the Basketball Hall of Fame actually is looking for. And in that case, yeah, Al Horford is a Hall of Famer. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Like, is Al Horford a Hall of Famer? Please let me know. And why or why not? Please. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you Boston sports content 5 days a week live on YouTube. So if you ring that notification bell, you'll get notified every time we're going live on YouTube. And then after that, it's going to be segments on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. So you don't want to miss that. Zach Burke, can I bring you in here real quick? We've got to level it off. We've got to wrap up this show. And I don't like going through entire shows without hearing from our fearless producer, Zach Burke.
Oh, fearless producer, huh?
Jesus Christ.
Hold on.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. There we go.
You're so loud, by the way.
Am I really? Oh, there. What about now? Is that better?
It's better.
Okay.
How I'm loud in an echo.
Yeah, when I talk, the way I have you through, let me see if I do that. Can you hear me still?
I guess see.
Is the echo still there?
It's still there. Yeah.
I got one more thing I can try. Give me 1 second. But
if not, we're wrapping up the show.
Yeah, no, we're doing it. Well, that's the yeah. Okay. Well, here I'm gonna switch. I know you can still hear me. I just can't. To this, and we'll see. There, can you still hear me?
I still hear you great, and now I can't hear me. That's perfect. You've got
There we go. See, there we go. I fix it. Okay.
I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing today, man.
It's been I'm good.
Did you watch that fight when it played?
Can
we watch this one more time? I want to throw it.
Yeah, go ahead and play it again.
This is great. I think it's
Bennett does stick work, cheap shot. Zadorov had enough. This is what Nikita Zadorov can mean to your club when he's got his A game going, when he's an impactful player, when he's a good decision maker. He is
That's hockey right there.
That
fucking rocks right there.
Didn't Bennett get into a fight in the Four Nations too?
Yeah. He fought Brady Tkachuk.
Oh, so he was on the losing end both times. He's just not having a good go round here lately.
This was like fucking around. I'm deleting you kind of.
Yes. No, absolutely.
Fuck, that rocked so hard.
Yeah. No, that is for sure.
Bruins
for
Senators in Ottawa.
Damn it, what was it? There was something I wanted to bring up with you. Oh, I have a random question for you to close out while we're here. It is, and it fits with this last segment where you were talking about Al Horford because it is Celtics related. I'm a big sports book fan of, in general. I'll also listen to a lot of audiobooks. The thing that I always wonder about, because my teams never come up for the most part unless you're talking about the early 90s, and then sometimes the Rockets get thrown in there. And you'll get to hear some stories about those teams because they won titles. But aside from that, you never hear about them. But like I'm listening to a Blazers book right now, and they're talking about like how they traded Kenny Anderson to Boston. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I completely forget about things like this. Do you ever go back, and it just made me think of this, when you like, I guess the thing to put, like we watch a lot of sports and we cover a lot of it. Is there ever a moment still now with everything that we dive into where you're like, oh shit, yeah, that did happen, even though like we've talked about with the documentaries that you want to watch something and everything still. Yeah. You would like to know things that you don't know. Are there still moments though where it's like you've ingested so much that you have that where you're like, oh yeah, that did happen?
Yeah, sometimes. I'm also like, I'm such a sicko that I guess a lot doesn't go unnoticed. But you know what it kind of is, and this time of year it comes up, is I won't necessarily like forget that some of these things happened, but I like when I see like deep dives. I watched one yesterday, like a deep dive into George Mason's run to the Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, man, that's right. They had to play Michigan State in the first round too. They beat the last two national champions to get there. Like I was like, that was crazy. And the guy did a great job with it because he kind of laid it out with like, you remember the George Mason run, but here's how it opened the door for these other great Cinderella runs and how it changed how the committee looked at it. And I was like, that, I hadn't put that together. And like, that's a really good comprehensive thing. So yeah, it might not even be that you forget that a trade happened, but you're like, oh yeah, this was the impact it had. I forgot about that. Or like, for example, I was looking through some Don Sweeney stuff the other day in his Bruins deals, and I forgot that he had traded Ryan Lindgren in one of those trade deadline deals, who's a pretty good player and a guy who you would want on the Bruins right now. And it's like, shit. So yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. No, I was always just curious. I have those thoughts of where I go back and I listen, and they bring up things that happen, and you're like, oh yeah, that did happen.
I had one of those. Sorry, I had one
go on.
Weeks ago too, because I was thinking about the Celtics and the '70s Celtics, which doesn't get covered very much. You hear a lot about Russell's Celtics and the '80s Celtics, and they had a great rivalry in the early '70s with the Knicks. And I obviously remember that the Knicks had won titles, but I was like, damn, the Knicks were really good. Like they were loaded, man. They had, Walt Clyde Frazier and Dave DeBusschere and all these. And so I remember, like, I did a little side research into the early 70s Knicks, and they probably should have won more, man. They were outstanding. So yeah, stuff like that. You just kind of forget the context.
Yeah, no, that's like, and I remember being around, I started reading this, and this will be the last bit I tell. This Jailblazers book is what it's called, about that, like, mid 90s into the thousands of the Portland Trailblazers team, because I had a great aunt, that 80-year-old woman, who loved Portland Trailblazers basketball. And it was those teams specifically, like Mighty Mouse and Damon Stoudemire and Rasheed Wallace and stuff like that. So I wanted to read this, but it's like, I'll read through it and I'll just forget about people completely, like J.R. Rider. And how, like, as a player, just like, I know, like, obviously there's a point in time where he was a big part of the NBA, or at least a part of the NBA as a while, but then you forget that, a guy like that exists, who on team planes, the stories they tell was when they served alcohol, he would pull a blanket over himself to cover himself up, and you would just see the blanket move of him, like, drinking on the team plane. He goes, and then after a while that he would just you could hardly understand him, because he'd get so mumbly and just like drunk off his ass that you would just hear him like stop one of the stewardess and be like, bitch, make me a tuna sandwich. And then like she would just leave. But so it's like characters like J.R. Rider that I'm like, as a kid, I was like, oh shit, yeah, I loved watching J.R. Rider. But obviously I didn't know anything, like this behind the scenes. But I love stuff like that, of where it's even of like players that I know I remember, and I'm just reminded of like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Yeah,
so that was it.
I was a madman. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
By the way, we got one comment in late here that I don't usually go to the comments, but
there you go. Yeah.
Flying FRG. I don't know if that's Frog or maybe something I'm missing. Starting to get into hockey, advice for learning about individual players and such. My first bit of advice, no joke, watch the Cam Show live at high noon Eastern time every weekday on YouTube, because we talk a lot of hockey on here. The other thing,
my hockey knowledge has improved, at least say like tenfold. Yeah.
I mean, I talk a lot about it. Locked On NHL, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, is going to start doing nightly recaps here in the very near future. And you will have a familiar voice and see a familiar face on those as well. Just a little tease, something to look out for. And honestly, I get a lot of my day-to-day stuff through YouTube, which is characters, channels like Eck and Hockey Psychology. Big Head Hockey is really great. They don't do it every day, though. So, I mean, honestly, first thing to do is start tuning into the Camp Show live on YouTube every weekday at high noon Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcast. Get the segments, man. We've got tons of Bruin segments on this channel. So if you want to learn more about what's going on, I can give you like a yearbook of this season just through the segments that we've done on here. So check that out. Thank you guys for checking us out. And we will thank you to Zach Burke for keeping us on the air. Thank you to me, Cam Stewart, for hosting it every day. And we will see you tomorrow on the Cam Show.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Tusains, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.